What's up, Dev Nation? Rich with Let's Go Warriors here. And we're going to take a look at this trade market, especially tomorrow being a very important date as far as transactions can go. Officially, tomorrow is the day that Jonathan Kuminga can be traded. And we're going to have Dean Chambers on with us to discuss all of the different possibilities and all of the ramifications, and per usual, how we should approach things and look at things from various different angles, and having as much grace as possible for all parties involved, basically. So we're going to bring on Dean in a second here. I'm trying to just... Funny thing, they changed the YouTube chat pop-out. Hopefully we'll get some more people on here shortly, get some of our regulars. Problem is they didn't know we were going to go live like this ad hoc. So the part of that's my fault. But we'll get things going in a second. And showing comments on the screen. Cool. Dean Chambers is in the house, so let's bring him in. Dean.
How's it going, Rich?
All right. Technical check. All right. I think I can hear you just fine.
Yeah.
We got Bruce in the house. Hey, Bruce. Hey. Good to have you, Bruce. Oh yeah, is the title wrong? No, you just gotta read the title a little bit closer than the little glance. that'd be pretty amazing if we just traded him for Giannis. But I don't think the Milwaukee Bucks are quite ready to trade him just yet. But we'll talk about that in a second. I think we'll jump into it pretty soon. But let me get all of my tools available, which is the back screen, for example. We might need to take this opportunity to, let's see, if we do this format. Yeah, it looks a lot better if we're purple. So I sent you a purple background, Dean. Maybe we should switch to that.
Oh yeah, okay.
Might look a little bit better. So let's see who's faster. I'll race you. No, I already have.
I have to go to the email. You have it on your computer, man.
Yeah. Tomorrow, Kuminga jerseys on sale. To respond to that, there was a tweet from Danny Emerman yesterday. Danny Emerman yesterday, where he reported that from the Warrior store that there have not been JK jerseys available. I'm going to try my best to keep track of timestamps, and I need to do a little bit of marketing as well. So we'll get to a topic where Dean can go off on, and I'll be able to jockey around and be a little bit more into the groove here. So hang on, let me get some timestamps. Let's take some notes, and I'll turn this into an official video that's much more structured. Like right now, Dean just got off work. He's got to go back to work, and it's just juggling that. I stayed up real late doing all the things from the who did we play last night? The Portland game, and did a recap of that, an honest recap. It's on our YouTube channel. Haven't even done an article yet, so just housekeeping wise, be sure to check out our website, letsgowarriors.com. I have actually mentioned, go back to the website, that Sorry about that. We got the live going on the website right now. Welcome all the Substack people, by the way. How many of you are there? 9 viewers? That is impressive. I wrote way back on December 29th, this very thing that we're going to talk about mainly, but we'll talk about everything. I'll go on and stay on. Dean will have to go at some point, but on December 29th, I wrote that we may need to wait for a trade to materialize. And it got reiterated yesterday because if you go to our Discord server, Discord server, here's the Discord server, free Discord server. Let me give you the link. I hope to have a short link created someday soon, but I have to type in this long URL every single time. We'll pin that. So you can join this Discord we have now. We do have some VIP channels here, but it's okay. Lots of stuff I put down here in the free section. For example, in the Dunleavy Lake of Management section. Check this out, guys. Milwaukee fans, so we're jumping into this. Milwaukee fans booed the Bucks when they were down 31 to Minnesota at halftime last night. Then 45 seconds into the third quarter, Giannis Giannis got fouled and he made the and one. Okay, it was an and one, and he got he's on the ground, he's on the floor, he's on the court because of the foul, and he goes like this, boo, to the fans right back. So the home crowd was booing him, and he booed him right back. And actually, I can't play this because we're on a YouTube live. This was broadcast TV. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the sound, and I'm going to show you the still frame of him booing. See, he's booing the crowd. He booed him
on the ground too.
He booed him on the ground too. So yeah, right here. Let's see if I can get this exact.
There's a little.
Yeah. Now I got to be careful even if I'm stepping through that because we have been flagged before. But yeah, that's the still frame shot of Giannis booing the Bucks. So you could interpret that as a one-off. You could interpret that as a tension. And in fact, I watched the post-game interview in the locker room with Giannis. And he says that he does this all the time on the road when they boo him. So he's minimizing it a bit. And I think I will go through that interview with you guys later. Even Dean, when you head off to work, you can just keep me on, and then you can actually listen to it or watch it actually, because I already checked it. Sorry to interrupt. Because I already did the copyright check, and it seems like the interview itself is clean. So we're not going to get flagged for that. Thankfully, it shouldn't be because of the freedom of the press and fair use. But and this is our live right now, guys. So you're on it. All right. Let's take a quick look at the comments for anything urgent. Justin's here. What's up? Visha, what should the Warriors trades not do? Yeah, what should the Warriors not do in terms of trades? Yeah, we'll talk about that. The title of this video has some topics that we'll go through, and those are like some of the names at the top of the list, I would say. Can we get MPJ? We'll talk about that as well. Oh, thanks, Bruce. Oh man, so kind. And thank you as well, Dean, because
of course,
we're both super busy, and I know you're working your butt off these days, so appreciate it. Smile for the camera or the screenshot. So yeah, hit the like, keep booing Bucks fans. Exactly. Oh, I should have screenshot that one. Yeah. Where's MPJ and Myles Turner? Oh, interesting, Denzel. Interesting. I will say this. Yossi Goslin, and I still have him here on one of my tabs. So I hopped on his podcast right here. You might want to go check it out. Let me get you the link, guys. Me and Yossi, Yossi and me talk trades, and he came up with a scenario that we will pull up, Dean, shortly. He was able to get us Giannis and Myles Turner. And I can't even remember if we had to give up Draymond. I think there was one point where I said, wait a minute, you mean we're getting Myles Turner and we're keeping Draymond?
Yeah. No, we didn't, based on what he I remember that.
Thank you, bro. I'm so happy.
I was on the call with you, and you were like, no, it doesn't include Draymond. I was like, oh, wow.
What? I know, right? Yeah. All right. So how did I get off on that tangent? I'm just going to screenshot this real quick, and then I would like you to talk about what you think about that whole thing. One more time, Dean, smile. All right.
Yeah,
cool. All right, my friend. Go ahead. What are your thoughts on the trade market? I've said this many times before, and then I'll shut up and everything, let you have the platform. But I always look at the trade market from a top-down perspective. Like, as a fan, I think it's healthy to have like a target that makes sense. Like, do your homework, do some salary cap analysis, ask us, and we'll do it for you.
Exactly.
Like, Giannis is a possibility considering the ramifications, which we will talk about. And so if Giannis is the possibility and we need to spend all 4 draft picks to get Giannis, then I don't want to spend a draft pick until the Giannis possibility is proven to me to be a 100% ship has sailed. So as long as it's a possibility, I think that is honestly the best way to improve the team. And there's not another name out there that is as, within the realm of possibility that like instantly on paper puts us in the Western Conference Championship, So that's what I look at. So then the next names that follow, I'm like, okay, yeah, let's take a look at it. But so we'll get into this. If we're going to spend multiple draft picks on MPJ, that means you cannot spend those draft picks again on Giannis. That ship has sailed to get Giannis. So I am of that camp. And so I look at it as, almost a pyramid. And let's go straight up top to the first guy at the top of the list. Is it possible to get him? Would it be super difficult? What would it be? And then utilize draft picks that way. All right, Dean. Let's hear from your perspective.
Oh no, I totally agree with you on that. I guess one of the issues though is that you're left with the choice of either trading Kuminga and trying to get back a salary that would match, at least for Giannis. I'm assuming that you'd want to keep Jimmy if you can,
Oh, interesting.
But Draymond already has 2 turnovers. Yeah, I think you have to keep. I mean, look, we're not that good anyway, and we actually have our draft pick this year too. So, what if we missed the playoffs? We traded away our draft pick and still missed it.
Good point.
It's not like we're in 3rd place in the West here or something. So I think it's important that you keep that possibility for what you really want, right? You don't want to give up because of the probabilities aren't that high. And I suppose that what I'm going to say mostly is I think we should just move some of our JK. Oh, I have the trade machine open right here. Sorry. One
Man,
second.
Chambers. Let's do another screenshot if I can find a good thing to put the backdrop against.
Yeah, JK, Moody, and Podziemski combined this year make $37.7 million. You know, so
smile, Dean. Sorry to interrupt, but
no, it's okay.
I will edit this properly later.
It's all right, Rich. Have fun with the transcripts and all that. You guys don't know how hard, Rich. Those things are tedious, man. Oh my goodness. But
yeah, thanks for your help on the Love Your Dub Summit back a few months ago.
Sure.
Ooh, yeah. That's a good one, MellyMelz.
Years ago in November.
I'm sorry to interrupt one more time. I just got to mention, I love it when longtime Warriors fans like MellyMelz, just the display of loyalty, like with Draymond and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Like I would be okay if Draymond was traded in a deal for Giannis. Okay, that'd be like the only guy. And you were actually, Dean, the one that convinced me of that when we had our live like 3 weeks ago, our last live talking about trade markets. So, but I still respect and love the fact, honestly. I almost wish I was as loyal as you. But
I didn't feel good saying that.
So yeah, it's so tough to like.
You're supposed to have 3 guys ride off into the sunset, and now you have 1.
Right. Oh, good point. Good point.
Oh.
So I appreciate the loyalty, MellyMelz. Sorry to interrupt, Dean. Go ahead. Keep going.
Oh, my camera.
Oh, just really anything about Giannis and the approach. And if you can remember anything from the Yossi Goslin trade talk thing where the proposal that he had was like, oh, we get Myles and Giannis. And I was like, are you sure? We get to keep Draymond? And he was like, we could literally look it up. His video is timestamped, so we'll go look that up.
Yeah, I think it was Jimmy for Giannis, basically. Yeah, Kuminga, maybe a piece for Turner to match salaries, something like that. Maybe some picks too. But here's another thing though. Okay.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have to combine salaries to get any of these guys, which means we have to sign those salaries later. So even if it works then, you still have to fill out. You can only go so many games not having 14 guys on your roster. So you'd have to fill in the players after that, and the more guys you send out, the more you have to sign for vet minimums.
I will say this: I think JK has a trade kicker, and it's on our Discord somewhere. You can look it up, probably in the Kuminga channel, but. That's going to help because he'll get a little salary bump. That means we're sending out, last time I checked, was around, like 1.7 million. If it's like a 15% trade kicker or something like that. And then I actually asked Google AI and it said that it would be approximately 1.7 million if he was traded. I forget when, but it's not an insignificant amount, so that will help in the numbers. But yeah, you also have to make sure that you're fielding at least 13 players at some point, and they'll let you do that for like 10 days or what have you. So yeah, those are little details that are important as well, but hard for us to track. So we've got to do kind of the move the major blocks around, and should be close enough.
Well, again, as I was saying, Podziemski, Moody, and Kuminga, They make 37.7. Maybe there's a little trade kicker, but Michael Porter Jr. will make 38.3. You know, and I have to tell you, I'm totally unless we're getting Porter to move him, I'm against that move. I just don't want him. I saw the way he played on the Nuggets. Oh, he's averaging 25, 7, and 3. He's on the Nets in the East. Like, someone has to take 20 shots. I'm sorry. I don't care about that. You're on, like, one of the worst teams in the NBA, and you're putting out big numbers. Big deal. You know? It's sorry, man. You know, good player and a bad team. We see it all the time, you know? Also, the cultural stuff, the MAGA stuff, and the price tag, you know, and back problems.
Oh, back problems.
Playing center probably in Steve Kerr's system. I just don't see it, you know. So okay. I'm out on MPJ and would be a little upset actually if they made that trade, especially since the Nets are probably going to want to pick and like why do that, you know?
Probably want a couple picks.
Yeah, so that's look. My real trade proposal right now is take back less salary and don't have to trade a pick. If something doesn't match either of those two, I'm probably going to be against it unless it's Giannis or something like that, you know, or Jokic. Jokic is on a good team, so.
And the reason why is the possibility of Giannis.
Yeah, and it's also it makes sense to get off a little salary, get a couple more draft picks. It would suck to lose, 33 or so million in Kuminga and Moody in terms of being able to send those guys out as young lottery talent wings who might be seen as distressed assets, that a rebuilding team can really let them. They're still 23? They're barely out of college. Had they played in 5 years you get with the transfer portal. So I'm not sure we even need a big star back necessarily, like a big name, I get that it makes sense, but it would also open up a little playing time for Seth when he's healthy, a little bit more Melt, a little bit more Will Richard, Guy Santos, guys like that. And we've been actually playing pretty well, not playing those guys very much, to be honest with you. So, I don't know how legitimate the fact that we've won. What is it?
Oh, Bruce. Bruce just, threw a brick at your MPJ window, which is just giving birth control, and he'll be all right.
I have no idea what that even means, and I kind of don't want to know.
Yeah, that part's going to get edited out. Okay.
Well, it's on the internet forever, in some way, Bruce. And then Trey Murphy, man. Why would the Pelicans do that? Why would they want to do it? You could say, why would the Bucks want to trade Giannis? But that's up to Giannis. He's going to go where he wants to go. He's a champion, Finals MVP. He gets to do. They're gonna give him that respect.
The latest and greatest on that was, and I haven't had time to put it on the free section of the Discord. Actually, it might be in the NBA live feed because we have so many feeds coming into this. I can look it up in this channel, NBA live feed. It's much better on mobile, by the way. Sam Amick. I know his cousin, and his cousin always pronounced his name as Amick. But Amick, whereas Sam likes to be called Amick. I don't really like full court pass that well. They screw up sometimes, but then again, I have them just in case. That's why I don't just throw them in a feed down here. The Miami Heat are absolutely a place Giannis would be open to. That's not really news, and it's probably not surprising. Ja Morant today, that's the latest on Ja.
Oh.
Is that he would love to go to Miami, and
they need to trade Ja to the
bought
North.
a house there.
His mind. Sorry, he should not play in the South. I think it would help. But who are the Heat trading? I mean, I don't know. What about their draft picks? I'm not sure they have a lot down in Miami. To be honest with you.
And going back to somebody was like, we don't have a chance at Giannis. No, actually we do, because there's tons of media guys, respected, not just aggregators, kids running aggregators. No, really, even Yossi Goslin is like, look, if the Bucks continue to suck, why would Giannis stay there? So there has never been a time more likely than now. I'm not saying it's likely, but in the past, there's never been a more likely time than now for Giannis to go anywhere, to just go outside of Milwaukee, be it the Warriors or Miami or whatever. One of the things Giannis did say in his press conference, and maybe I'll go over this later, but he said, yeah, there's no excuse for how we played. They lost to Minnesota in a blowout. Doc Rivers said on the podium post-game, oh, we got dead legs. So somebody asked him about it, asked Giannis, and Giannis goes, oh, no, I'm not buying dead legs. No.
Yeah, what a ridiculous thing to say.
That's what I love about Giannis, is that he takes accountability. This guy is like the guy in the NBA that takes the most accountability, whether it's himself or his teammates. He is not afraid to put his teammates out and say, we need to play better in this, and that. And one of the things that he said was that, oh, we got a young team. Like, I can just, it's possible that he could get frustrated with having a young team. Of course, they didn't have Myles Turner last night. He was out with an illness. So that affected that.
They're the 11th seed in the East, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, the whole NBA, all the teams that could possibly get Giannis, be it Miami, and this may push back Miami's pursuit of Ja Morant, because if they can get Giannis, then they'll get Giannis instead of Ja. So there may be a lot of,
They do have some. I looked it up. They do have some later draft picks later on this decade and into the 30s. Man, 2030s. But I'm not sure. Here's the thing. People are saying, oh, why would Giannis want to play with old Curry? Well, we have Jimmy, too. Like, I'm sure he's going to want to play with Jimmy, throwing him. I just imagine Jimmy and Bam, and instead, like, let's put Giannis in there with Steph running around. Might not be unattractive, right? We're not that good of a team, though. It's not like we're a guaranteed contender coming out here, because we're barely over 500. Although we have been, what are we, 9 in our last 14, something like that. So we are playing a little better without getting rid of Curry, Butler, or Green. No, you have to get rid of Butler or Green, because we're never ever trading Steph. But just for salary matching, Yeah.
And also, why would you want to come to the Warriors? Well, it depends on what the other cities are,
We're a team with 2 established stars, right? He obviously likes Steph a lot. I'm not sure how he feels about Jimmy, actually. I'm sure they had some pretty good run-ins in the past, but so did Al Horford. I don't think it's that big of a deal if you're on another team. There aren't too many places where you can go with 2 Hall of Famers who have young talent and leadership talent like Draymond, with a bunch of draft picks who are also in the other conference. Don't really want to trade a superstar within the same conference and meet them in the first round, do you? I mean, that's just always been a thing with these big trades. They're almost always cross conference, I guess KD wasn't going to the Rockets, but most of them are. So, no, I don't think Jimmy would go on a potential Giannis deal. No.
Well, I mean, yes or no? I mean, I would still do the deal, whether it's Kuminga and Draymond or Jimmy. Right? If it's not Jimmy, then it's Kuminga and Draymond to get to the 50
Yeah.
million.
And I think Jimmy's a little better fit next to Giannis than Draymond is at this point. Although Draymond's been a better shooter than Jimmy from three, it still feels like you'd want to play with Jimmy. I mean, have the ball in his hands, JK's eligible to be traded starting tomorrow, right? Yes, 15th January. Mm-hmm. More POA, point of attack players would be legit if they have a lot of those. I'm not quite sure. I think we need a little more offensive help, if I'm being honest with you. I haven't been able to watch as many games as I was when I was in college and had a little more free time. But
what do we need?
Bloomer's saying more POA type of players.
Point of attack, help, defense. Okay.
Point of attack. Yep. I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I'm not saying it wouldn't hurt, but and maybe that's it is much more possible. It is much more of a possibility that Giannis is traded in the offseason anyway. So maybe that's what you take JK's salary, maybe Moody, maybe Pajemski too. Some young guys to a team that isn't contending, is trying to rebuild. They're not going to want vets, right? Generally. Although Portland wanted Drew Holiday. I could see getting a couple pieces back for them, who are close in salary matching, maybe not lottery pick type guys, but, something like that.
I think if it's not Giannis, and I hold out hope for Giannis in the summer, even, just wait for the Bucks to have a train wreck sometime between now and May. But I would love to go and get a wing, because I just see our team as kind of old, kind of small, and other than that, a lot of really good complementary players, but at the same time, they are complementary players. So like, they're not going to go out and, win a pickup game at All-Star practice. You know what I mean? Like, those are Guy Santos has a very defined role in the NBA, and kudos to him to find a landing spot for that. But I would never pick Guy Santos in a pickup game at the playground. It's just right. It's just not realistic for him to, unless you're running a system. So
between NBA players, sure.
I'm just saying that we do need some of the athleticism. Really, I hoped it would be JK, and that's a whole other discussion maybe next time, because it's not time dependent. We can have you on, Dean, and we can dissect that to death. Because
dissect what? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Dissect why or how or when JK was not integrated into the Steph, Kerr, Draymond ecosystem. Because last night on the live stream, I brought up the thought that he spent all this time in the summer of, and I got it wrong. I said 2015, but I meant 2014 because it was the 14-15 season. So in the summer of 2014, you spent all that time to come up with the double split cut, Klay and Steph off of Bogut and all of that. And
triangle plus Popovich motion style stuff. Yeah,
you couldn't have invested that brain power into JK this summer. Just couldn't do it.
He just doesn't believe in him, I think.
Yeah.
Not as a person.
Right.
He never wanted to play him. This has been going on for years.
Well, Steve is also one of those guys I wouldn't pick in a pickup game. I mean, prime Steve hitting jumpers left and right. No, he just, so he came up in basketball in sort of a different world. Lute Olson, those type of programs don't grow on trees, right? The ones that are more prevalent, everyone's trying to be the next Kobe Bryant when they come through AAU. But let me cut that discussion off short, because that's a whole other live stream that you and I should do later. And it's, even if JK gets traded tomorrow, we can still talk about it a week out from now, because it's really talking about Steve Kerr, the Steph ecosystem. And I said last night, I thought about it. I go back, I had to go all the way back to when I was actually a good basketball player in the local Asian American community. And I was kind of like, if we had a Steph Curry run around in the tournaments and the leagues that I was playing in, would I want to play with him? And I actually concluded that I wouldn't want to play with him, because I kind of wanted to get my own buckets, and I feel like KD probably feels that way too. There's a whole, but
I mean, Steph lets you have the ball in his hands, though. So
no, but that'll be a discussion. No, I agree. It's a blocker charge. There's every side is equally right, and it's just, you're not me and I'm not you, so it just ends up that way. And so JK is an interesting topic. And in fact, let me go down to the Jimmy section, because one of the feeds that I have, even going straight into, again, if you want to join our Discord, the free link is up pinned at the top. But Jimmy has his right-hand man, Ernie. Ernie always tweets, so I decided to add the Ernie Twitter feed to the Jimmy section on Discord. And he actually said something pretty cool. First of all, he did say that Giannis, when the Bucks came to Chase Center to play us, Sam Amick, who lives in Sacramento, came down to do a story, did an interview with Giannis, and got Giannis to say, "I will never ask for a trade. That's not in my character." Right? So that became the headline of his Athletic article. And Ernie goes, "Oh, yeah, right. Well, why don't you just do what you did with Miami, which is just have your agent call Miami behind the scenes and just maintain this front with the public that is loyal to the Bucks." So that was kind of neat, because it's in here somewhere. But he said something about JK, which was quite true. Whatever side you fall on the JK argument, fine. Both sides have fair arguments. But if you're telling me he's not better than most out there, then you're just lying to yourself, especially when you're playing a young athletic team. And this is when we lost to Atlanta. In fact, it was in the middle of our loss to Atlanta. He's literally sitting there watching us play. Doesn't matter, though. Damage is done. So that's another block charge discussion about.
Well, the other thing, too, is it's making Jimmy be the second leading scorer, which is not the way it was. We kind of set it up for Jimmy to be third leading shot taker, second behind Steph in terms of ball in hand, alongside Draymond.
Yeah.
We just, an athletic guy who can cut to the hoop. And, like, he was playing well. Kerr didn't have a terrible system for him at the beginning of the year. Steph got hurt and then got sick and basically never saw JK ever again. So I do, which is terrible for trade. It's terrible for trade discussions for Mike Dunleavy Jr. But I do think maybe other teams are going to look at him as like this really distressed asset. Or if you bring him in, just let him actually not have like a super – he's got to have one of the shortest leashes of a seventh pick. Like who he has a championship ring. It's not like he was completely unimportant. He played in some of those playoffs. And again, for a dude who last season, went up against the Timberwolves defense and scored 24 a game and like 40% 3-point. Other teams have to view him as a distress asset. Moody, maybe not so much. Moody, they're just, he probably should have been like a 20th pick rather than 14th or, whatever. But he's, it's still good to have athletic young wings and see what happens with them, especially with 7-foot wingspans, and maturity. But, I didn't come on here trying to be negative because I think there's a lot of things that we can still do to even without the Giannis dream, to keep us in a place where hopefully we contend more. I think we've been doing a lot better. We've certainly been winning a lot more. I like the whole playoff series things, and we've won 2 series, and since we kind of sucked, I can look it up if you want going back, but this really good organizations tend not to put their foot in their mouth a little bit like this, where you have sort of no idea, what the plan is. I look at, if there's no one to trade for JK, are we just going to DNP him the rest of the year? What's the plan here, man?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned. I'd forgotten how we got on to the subject, because how we got onto the subject was that I said I thought we were going to use JK as that athlete, and turns out that didn't happen. And I understand it. I'm actually not mad at Steve, and if I were mad at Steve, I should be as mad as I am at Steve as I am at Steph, because you should see Steph talk about. I mean, he's on the podium, like pretty much giving you the role of Pat Spencer, Guy Santos, and just saying, oh, these guys are high IQ, this, that, and the other thing. But the dark side of that comment is, yeah, if you're young, athletic, if you're Brandon Ingram, if you're even Dennis Schroeder, I was thinking about, hey, Dennis Schroeder's athletic, very athletic for a point guard too. But yeah, if you're athletic, have talent, get your own bucket, you're probably not a good fit with me, is actually it. But I don't blame Steph either. It just is what it is. And I think it's kind of cool that the more we learn about this, the more we understand that basketball has so many different angles, the majority of which is your turn, my turn. And it's very American style of basketball. And Steve has found out a way to maximize this guy who's 6'3", but can make shots from anywhere on the court. And normally what you would want to do is you want to bully him, and you do what they're doing today when he doesn't get any foul calls. And but even more so, can you imagine, 90s basketball? They were just talking about Jordan rules. They had John Sally was on somebody's podcast and talking about the Jordan rules. I actually put it in here on the Discord because I just thought it was so important, because you talk about Michael Jordan. So if you scroll all the way down here, where do I have it? Maybe it's in the NBA, but not Warriors. I don't know. Somewhere. There it is. All the Smoke. Oh, my bad. Sorry, Matt Barnes and Stack. Of course, it's on All the Smoke. They get the best guests, but they're talking about Jordan rules, and so you would have Jordan rules on Steph, and so just the game's evolved, and just been very innovative. And whenever Draymond's out there, that's why I didn't want to trade Draymond for Giannis either, because I'm picturing them doing the 2-man game, and it's just a thing of beauty. And that just, Steve is the enabler of that. So we should be appreciative of that. That beautiful basketball between Draymond and Steph doesn't occur without Steve Kerr, But
there's no doubt about it. However, you're saying athletic wings can't play with Steph. Maybe that's on the coach.
Yeah. So
whether Curry likes it or not,
Yeah.
So,
but I don't know that. I mean, you'd assume it's possible, but again, we'll save that for another live stream. So I'm all the way back to, we went on a tangents, but I'm all the way back to who would I target, and I said this last night, but if it's shown that we cannot get Giannis at all, so you might as well spend the draft picks, then okay, then it would be like, okay, maybe MPJ is a good fit. He's long, 6'10", probably can play decent. Also, actually, my idea was Jerami Grant, because then you wouldn't have to spend any first-round picks for him because his contract sucks. So the theory is that's why Portland would do that deal without any draft picks. Maybe you can convince him of that. Doesn't seem like you can convince New Orleans of anything because they want draft picks, because Dumar screwed up the 2026 pick, I think, with the Derek Queen deal. And so I would be looking for a wing. And I think I did a video on here, a live stream about Trey Murphy way back. I've always liked him, wanted to pick him before Moody. And then we got a nice dose of Jalen Johnson the other night with Atlanta, who also been picked ahead of Moody. And
not who I wanted, man.
So hold on. So let me just close that loop and just say that I would specifically target a wing, because I am all about the wings. I want wings. And so that's what I would do. And I actually think Jerami Grant might be an approximation of Andrew Wiggins. But I'll talk about that later.
I think he's big enough to play the 5 next to Dray and get a little of that pressure off of him too.
The 5. Oh, you mean the tall 4 with Draymond at the 5?
Well, maybe, or maybe just let Draymond not have to guard the center and let him free roam a little, because him guarding those 7-footers, like he's best when he can help off, and if he helps off the center, it's going to be a wide open dunk, which is a problem.
Yeah. Well, also got to respect your time here. Let me know if you need to go, and you can just get what you get off your chest. Okay.
So I can't leave now, Rich, man.
Yeah, I know it's tough.
Sunset's still there, so I don't know when it's dark, I guess.
Well, yeah. What were you gonna say? I interrupted you on.
I just who I wanted in that after Kuminga, or in that 14th slot, like Moody.
Who'd you want?
Oh, Şengün, man.
Oh, Şengün. Gotcha.
Yeah, I loved his footwork over in Turkey, and he was an MVP of the EuroLeague, very young age.
Well, we should do another live that talks about who would you have picked. It'd be more Moody centric.
Well, the problem is I wanted to pick Şengün like 7th, and then I loved Chris Duarte. It was right. So hey, you swing and a miss, man. At least we got 2 NBA.
I didn't like Duarte, but yeah.
Yeah. Lakeup apparently did. I heard the Warriors got taken. Yeah.
Oh, really?
He got taken 13th, right ahead of where Moody was. So, yeah.
I don't know if that would have worked out, though. But
we got 2 NBA players out of it, which is,
Where what?
Kuminga, we got for Wiggins trading D'Lo. So, I mean, that was kind of just, icing on the cake, I guess.
Yeah.
But
you can look at it that way. It's healthy to look at things in a positive light. It's what I want to encourage everybody to do. But okay, so those are my ideas, and we haven't even gotten into like looking at salary caps sheets and stuff, which I should pull up. But shall we go back to let's look at the Giannis deal, right? Because there was one scenario where we could get Myles Turner, and I don't want to just gloss over that. There are some timestamps here. Let's see, Giannis, 36-minute mark. So there's a part where he shows it on screen. There it is, guys. You see that? Steph, Giannis, Myles Turner, Draymond Green, Moses Moody. So Jimmy's in the deal, and we got Myles Turner along with that. Isn't that amazing? I'd go for that. Heck yeah. And I know some people want to go, well, we're kind of repeating Quentin Post and Al Horford. Well, I honestly don't think Quentin's quite ready yet, because I mean we have to throw him into the fire, because Horford is older, and if he starts, then there's too much of a gap for him between first quarter and fourth quarter in the rotation. He'll kind of be, his legs will get cold on the bench. So they did the same thing in San Antonio with Victor Wembanyama. So you don't start him, you have him come off the bench so that he can finish the game. And but you bring in Myles Turner, then Quinn Post would hardly be used. But that's fine. I don't think he's ready, because every time I saw a stat, man, his beyond first quarter 3-point shooting is not good. It's on here somewhere. Analytics, I think. I forgot where I put it.
What'd you say? First quarter shooting?
His first quarter shooting's good. The rest of it, bad.
For who?
Quinn Post. So that's why if we got Myles Turner, I don't think that would be. I think that'd be good. I did another live.
You never have enough 3-point shooting big men who can rebound. I mean, maybe you can't have 10 of them.
I would feel a lot more comfortable with Myles Turner, even if Quinn Post is on the bench and kind of mothballed. Well, I can't find the thing. We got so much stuff on the Discord. It's like a fire hose.
Exactly.
But
you ever get sprayed by a fire hose? Like, they take you out to the local park when you're in school and they just spray you down?
Thankfully, no. That's, the feeling?
Yeah, those things are strong, man.
Sorry to hear that. The feeling.
Yeah.
It was actually a retweet by Dalton Johnson to show the fourth quarter Quentin Post stats. So sorry it's not on there. Can't find it. Okay. Who should we talk about next? Or who do you want to talk about?
I think we should touch on AD a little, actually. Oh, by the way, I did Butler, Kuminga, and Podziemski for Turner and Giannis, and we saved about 890-something thousand.
Say that one more time.
Butler, Kuminga, and Podziemski for Giannis and Turner, we save about $890-something thousand. 869,000.
Okay.
MVPs in Milwaukee, So.
Let me catch up on some comments, but go ahead.
Talking about AD.
Oh, sure. Well, I'm glad you brought it up, because I would have said, nah, we don't need to talk about AD. I mean, he's injured. Why would you trade for an injured guy? So I'd love to hear what you got to say about it, because I crossed him off my list.
Well, I'm not sure if Steph is his favorite player. Although they did seem to have a good relationship in the Olympics. Everybody does. Maybe he just doesn't like the Warriors or whatever. And we would definitely be playing him next to – that would probably be for Jimmy. So we'd be playing him next to Draymond, which means he'd probably be playing the 5 a little bit, although Draymond can pick up that. A little inconsistent in terms of his 3-point shot and injury prone, but man – it's a little enticing to me. It's risky. It's a risky move, but it's enticing. And if it doesn't really work, I think could be moved again, for a different trade. Giving up Jimmy's hard because I think he's really good for the team. Just able to get to the line, his passing ability, and the way he just opens up the game for all the role players around him, especially if you put really good shooters around him. That's how Jimmy was great in Miami. But you keep Draymond, that's always good. You have really, really good defense in the back end, right? I mean, a Draymond AD, you're really going to find it difficult to score at the rim when those two guys are on the court together. And he's a good enough shooter to put a little size next to Draymond. And I guess one thing is you have to think about what the Mavericks want, for AD, considering the psychological impact of we traded Luka for this guy. So, would you give up a pick? Because that might be more attractive even to the Bucks to get Anthony Davis in there. If you tried to go for Giannis afterwards, still have that huge contract, 57 million, whatever he's making next year. I would, if you made me choose, I'm picking AD over MPJ 100,000 times.
Interesting.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Even though, wait, I was sort of half listening to you while catching up on the comments. Even with the injury risk, I mean, not just this one, but the next one and possibly the one after that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's gonna go into the Hall of Fame.
Great. Yeah.
He's a DPOY level player when he's.
Mm-hmm.
If you can keep him healthy for a playoff stretch and you have Draymond next to him, I mean teams are gonna cry when they're going to the rim, man. And then
so we need
when you have good rim protection, the POA gets a lot easier because you can get beat a little bit, right? Okay. I saw this with the Jazz actually. They sort of stopped playing perimeter defense because Gobert was so good at. They were just funnel him to Gobert, but Draymond and Curry and those guys are
interesting.
And with Melton and Richard and Gee, and I think it would be a really solid defensive team, and AD can put up some points when he's healthy. It's risky. It's way riskier than Giannis, obviously. I mean, that's literally a slam dunk or an open three, but. I'd be much more, if we're going to take a risk and we're going to send out draft picks, I'd be much more interested in that, honestly, than Trey Murphy too, because, he's another young athletic wing, and I know he's really good. I know that, but it fits the timeline, and you want to take that risk and you like 80. Yeah, I know, but I mean, you guys remember playing against him when he was on the Lakers, right? That was really tough, man.
Yeah.
Guy who can shoot, switch. He's not the best passer, but Draymond find him for Andre Iguodala. Oh, and Celebrini. That would be nice. If you're going to put him on any team, having Rick Celebrini in your corner, it's not too bad for Anthony Davis.
Before we do any deal, we need to give Rick Celebrini a fat extension.
Oh, dude. Honestly,
I think he's doing it right though.
The salary cap, for every injury he prevents,
For him to I don't mean to knock on wood 10 million times, but Melton's looking good so far, and he's only playing, whatever minutes he played last night, which is 18 in a blowout. But
23 points,
basically 20-ish minutes, and keeping it real.
Miss DeMarcus Cousins. There's DeMarcus Cousins made such a huge impact for playing one season. Coming off of Achilles, right? Wasn't it? Came back from a torn Achilles.
Yeah,
I guess it was the last season in Oracle though, so there's a lot of good vibes from that.
Well, anything? I'm going to go back to the comments one by one because luckily, nice and highlighted for me on YouTube. Because I've been answering comments by typing them out. But just going down the list now, we're, again, take it pyramid approach. It's got to start with Giannis. Okay, let's go to, if Giannis is not available, what would you do? Now, you don't like MPJ at all. I think on paper it looks great. I probably like it. Well, I think the first round picks, and we don't know because we can't get into Sean Marks, Brooklyn GM's head. We can't get into Joe Dumars' head. But if you're comparing,
they're going to want picks, though. They're going to want picks.
But is it like one pick for MPJ, or is it two? And is it 2 or 3 for Trey Murphy? That kind of thing. Because if it's more for Trey Murphy, then I'd rather get MPJ. If it's the same and it's kind of the same cost, Then, well, Trey Murphy probably has a pretty good contract looking out. MPJ ends at summer 2027, which is nice, even though it's very a lot of money. And let's take a look at New Orleans real quick. Trey Murphy is
like
right here with a pretty fair contract, but it goes out more. So summer 2027, Dunleavy and Lacob's idea is to clear the deck and let's have as much maneuverability as possible, which, yeah, by the way, Jerami Grant doesn't look great. And I have admitted that it's a terrible contract because he's getting way overpaid and it's ascending. But some of these player options, what you can do is you can renegotiate and say, or not renegotiate, you can just say, hey, look, let's do you an extension. Let's don't take the option, but we'll extend you so that, you know, you have a longer career and you'll make, you know, let's say 20 million, 20 million, 20 million, 20 million, 4 more years at 20. I don't know. So you get 80 million all told cumulative versus 36. Then you got to go out on the open market, you know, so that's a way to kind of get around that. So anybody you think of, definitely go check out. I like looking at Hoops Hype because it has the out years. I will use Yossi Goslin's cap sheets if I'm, you know, dissecting and adding up to make sure we're under the second apron and they're under the whatever they're trying to get under, luxury tax or whatever other team. So that's each website has its advantages for that. So going down again, recapping. So we talked about MPJ, Trey Jones, same thing. Trey Murphy, same thing. Wouldn't it be great if you could combine them into this like all-star Herb Jones defense? Trey Murphy.
Murphy, man.
Anyways, Trey Murphy, we just talked about. I really liked him at the draft. I wanted to pick him just because he's a long wing. Honestly, when it comes to these drafts, I just kind of put all my faith in Eric G of NBADraft.net and let him tell me about these kids. And usually I go by wingspan. I Google wingspan a lot because
yes,
I'm a firm. Sorry, Pat Spencer. He's the one that's dissing the long athletic things. And it's funny because then you lost a few games to those very types of teams.
Although so shorter wingspans do help with shooting, I think.
Yeah. Well, MPJ is a good example of that, right? He can get off any shot he wants. Really.
No, shorter wingspans help you have a more.
My fault. I didn't hear you right. Shorter wing. Oh, okay, good. Then you're saying I'm a good shooter because my wingspan sucks. Cool.
I'm sure you are.
Well, I don't know. I used to be, but I don't play anymore.
Please, speaking of shooting, please splash the likes and hit subscribe if you can. Oh, I mean, not if you can. Yeah. We know you can. It's free. Maybe turn on notifications too, so you don't.
Thank you, Amy. Amy's on Facebook.
Hey,
smile, Dean. Oh, I should do a commercial break at some point, but I'll do that when you leave. And feel free to whenever you got to go.
I'll probably go at 6. So maybe.
I had no idea how long we would go. Oh man, it's already 6. Oh, wow.
I gotta ask you though, Rich, man. What happens if we aren't good and we trade our draft picks?
Good question.
Guy making a lot of money.
Yeah. Let me pull up New Orleans real quick. Have this. Got some good, intelligent commenting going on. Ready, smile, Dean? All right, thanks, Higgs. I can't see a scenario. Yeah, right, because Joe Dumars, he knows it. He probably knows it. He got fleeced with the Derek Queen deal. And especially with Eric G telling us, man, this 2026 draft is freaking deep. But you're going to get a good player. Even the Warriors are going to get a good player. So that even makes it worse. And his love affair with Derek Queen, he honestly overpaid for Kevon Looney, but he could. And, you know, on paper, this pretty talented team. It's just that Zion has been hurt again. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just snake bitten down there. Voodoo land. And but yeah, I agree with you. Dumars is in like, because them they don't have a pick in 2026 draft, right? So tough spot to be in. I don't know what they're doing. Some franchises you just can't, the journalists will tell you, even the local journalists, like when we talked to the Monty guys, the Monty show guys, the brothers last summer, talking about Markkanen, they were like, we have no idea what's going on here.
I still honestly really don't know what's going on in Utah.
Yeah, right.
I don't really have enough time to pay attention.
We should double back on Markkanen. Markkanen would be at the top of our pyramid as well. It's just that all the reports are saying that Ainge is going to build around Markkanen, and it does make sense in terms of they gave him that fat extension. So okay, why would you do that and then trade that out? I guess you could, get some pieces.
Why would you give a guy a fat extension and then immediately trade him, huh? That's crazy, isn't it?
They have been tanking for a while, so yeah, probably tired of that.
Oh, Jazz fans don't like that, man.
Yeah.
We used to never miss the playoffs ever. Oh, Marquise Chris, thank you, Amy. I love that.
You said we on Warriors.
I always wanted Marquise Chris back. He's a Warrior for life. Eric Pascal. Yep. Yeah. Eric Pascal, his problem was he was too big, and everybody tried to play him at the 4 when he was a shooting guard. But the NBA is not that creative, man. Just learn to accept.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, Eric Pascal was said straight out that he had trouble being in the system. Okay, so passed up on Pascal. Did we? That was way back.
What?
We passed up on Pascal. Oh, that one. No, Pascal wasn't ever coming here. Pascal basically, didn't he practically handpick Indiana?
Yeah.
No,
I think, weren't we in the second apron too or something? Maybe it was the year after.
Siakam wasn't coming here. I just remember at the time, that was the you can't get your information from Twitter all the time. That's why we have the Discord, so that you don't need to look at all the discourse that goes beyond the original source tweet. It's just like all of a sudden it became like, oh, we should have got Pascal. I'm sitting here going, no, we never had a chance for him. So,
and then there was all the
hard to go back in time.
We refused to give up Pajemski for Markkanen, and it was like, no, they're asking for a lot more. They're asking for like a lot more plus Pajemski, and that didn't really. I mean, maybe it would have been good, but you can't be too upset. I mean, we got Jimmy Butler, man, for Andrew Wiggins, who was not really playing much. He's doing better in Miami. But
yeah, I wonder how he's
that was a pretty good trade, man. And getting Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga for D'Lo was like one of the best trades of the one of the best trades of the decade, at least, Right, Bobby? Don't you think so? Yeah.
Rui for JK. I would never do that. Yeah, Rui also is. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not sure Kerr would even play Rui, man.
Yeah, right. But
feels like a Guy Santos Rui.
He's definitely not playing JK. So then you're just. Sometimes
the Lakers are. Here's another thing: the Lakers are playing well. All these other teams aren't good. It's hard to make hey, do you want to change up your roster while you're playing well?
They don't think they're playing well, but yeah.
Yeah, the 5th seed or whatever. Yeah.
I don't know. Rui for JK. Sometimes I would want to make a change just for change's sake. I am one of those guys.
I don't want him to be really good on the Lakers, though, and then come and destroy us. And we get a role player back.
Right.
That's in our own division.
Yeah.
Oh, man. With Luka and LeBron next to him, that seems like a That seems like a recipe for him to have a vengeance series against us.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Man, I don't know. This is one of the tougher trade deadlines to figure something out, right?
And what happens if there's nothing out there? What
yeah,
if teams are just like, let's not help the Warriors at all and make them go into the offseason?
yeah.
It's kind of a call around the league, you know? What then? Are we going to DNP him the entire year if we can't move him?
I know, right?
Are we going to lower our asking price? That seems like terrible strategy. Oh, well, they want to screw us over, so we'll lower our asking price and get less. That doesn't seem smart.
And just from the transactional aspect, let's pull up, finally, we get a chance to pull up cap sheets. The more I think about it, the less, I mean, there was all this talk earlier about when Pat Spencer was playing well. Oh, yeah, he deserves an NBA contract and he needs to be converted. Now, I don't know as much, you know, I don't know if that's true because technically you could just, what other team's going to want a guy like that? Doesn't he sort of just fit us the best? Or
Pat?
I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Maybe he does have interest from elsewhere as a free agent. So, you know, he would be, if we didn't do a trade, then we couldn't convert him because our roster's stuck. Seth Curry, you can't trade him either. And
No.
we're so close to the second apron, we're not going to waive anybody.
Do we have like less than $30,000 into the second apron? Is that right?
No, it's 200,000.
Oh, okay.
291,000.
Okay. I didn't see that 9.
Yeah, so looking at the cap sheet for the Warriors, and I'm happy to look at any trades here, but I think luckily this discussion is more just so at a macro level, looking at the pyramid of different trade targets. Like, man, this one's tough. There's just so many moving parts that I don't know that it's worth going into that granular detail. But going back to like the Pat Spencer thing, and do we need to make a move to open up a spot? Like, that one's a mystery as well, because you could just keep Spencer on a two-way, but like, what if Steph, you need a backup to go up the depth chart when we have back-to-backs and Steph needs to rest. Then for sure.
I think you're hoping that's Seth pretty soon.
But is Seth a 1-2 or is he just a pure 2?
Yeah. In Kerr's system, it's not really that important.
You gotta be a playmaker. Can he dribble? I haven't seen enough of Seth. Okay.
You should watch some tape on him in Charlotte. He's not just a catch and shoot guy. He's got some moves. Yeah.
Okay. Well,
he's not a pure one getting as many assists as many.
Oh, and then we've got Melton back.
We got Mel. We got Brandon. Yeah, I think
So maybe a deal doesn't need to be done. But then the flip side of that is, I can't let a kid that is actually pretty talented. There was a tweet that went out today that showed him having like a 8 or 9 game stretch, which was all 20 points and above. I think it must have been before Dennis Schroeder, before the Jimmy trade. Must have been before that. And JK had a good stretch.
Oh, JK, yeah.
Yeah. So for him to be DNP'd ad nauseum throughout the rest of the season, that's not fair as a basketball player, as someone who loves the game. That's not fair. And I know it's a business, but yeah, are we going to just DNP JK? That would suck. But Steve is sitting there going, things always happen in the NBA. Like, he sounds pretty confident that JK would get his chance if he remained a Warrior type of deal.
He did say he was going to reward him for what he's doing in practice, played him 9 minutes and then DNP'd him since then, though. So he just doesn't like it. He just doesn't like his game. However fine their personal relationship is.
Yeah.
Or just doesn't like that. In fact, I think I think it is probably a sense of experience of being around these guys who made the NBA based on their athletic talent versus their skill set. I'm sure he saw people go ahead of him in the draft and things like that, where he's like, they made it because they're physically talented and I'm better than them. That's fine. You know, look, everybody has something like that in the NBA, right? Especially ex-players, guys who were on dynastic teams as players, on the Bulls and on the Spurs for multiple championships. And it happens. Whether it's the right choice, that's going to be up to Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy to figure out, because they control the roster construction on the team. But I do think we have to worry about, like, what if this is just our team?
Yeah. That'd be unfortunate because I just see
I'm kind of okay with it. Let's just see where we're at.
I guess I'd come around to being okay with it at some point, but I'd really have to make a lot of assumptions. Like, okay, X, Y, and Z team really, didn't give us any good negotiating table, or I've got to really dip into the grace well there, like.
We can say this is kind of what Kerr wanted, and we're going to let him play with the team he likes.
Yeah, there you go.
And see what happens.
And then there's the whole discussion that I got from Eric G yesterday. I forgot if I told you or not that. I think I told you, where when QP isn't hitting shots, that lineup with Draymond is really tough. And so does that mean Draymond should come off the bench? And there's complications to that because we all know Steph and Dray play great together. But then, I mean, we can see the future of this. It's all going towards Draymond coming off the bench because he's definitely regressed offensively. I mean, I think he would even admit that. What's crazy is last night in the locker room, Jimmy basically admitted that, what were the exact words? I should pull up the exact words, but he was talking about we lose focus of the process. And I'm going, I'm doing the Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the TV meme. It's like, finally somebody admitted it. Let me try and find it. Search on process. I should have put, now this reminds me to do the article on the website of showing the transcript from last night. Here it is. Jimmy goes, he was asked, when you look at the game that you put together, you guys look really good. Is that encouraging that you can do that, or discouraging or disappointing that you don't do it all the time? And he said, I don't mean you, I mean as a team. I think it was Nick Friedel. Great question by the great Nick Friedel. He goes, Jimmy says, and it's on our website, it's on our YouTube channel. You guys can go click on the Jimmy video right here, Jimmy Butler. It's in there at the 10:14 mark. He goes, I don't know. We get I don't know. Is it bored with the process? I'm like, yo, he admitted it finally. They do get bored with the process. We can see it. We can see it with Draymond. You can see a different level of focus when they're playing Denver, OKC, Spurs versus Atlanta, and that I think that's part of getting older. And I've come to the conclusion that there's nothing you can do about it. So I am at peace with that finally. So I see the future of Draymond as coming off the bench. Sure, you can close a game. We're going to need you to close a game, but let's let some young guys. I had hoped it would be JK, but let's let some young guys who are hungry come out there and have that energy off the break at the top. And you commented yesterday on the live stream during the watch party when I brought up the fact that I think, or not the fact of my opinion, that the veterans should focus more at the tip-off and just kind of mentally go all out in the beginning rather than kind of saving it. You know, if you're Shea Alexander, SGA, if you're Shea, you're looking at a full 48. You're looking how to pace yourself across. When you're older, I don't think you can do that. I'm trying to think back to when I stopped, when I was approaching the end of my amateur basketball playing career. You're older, you can't approach the game the same way as when you were younger, especially if you're not a starter, or you're not an impact player, or you just don't have the same level of energy or athleticism. You have to really change it. And so I think there's a lot of, the ego gets in the way. So I think Kerr has some of that, and Draymond has some of that. And to Eric G's credit, he's like, yeah, I think Steve's going to have to step down if he's not willing to have Draymond off the bench. And I understand. And he says, I understand why Steve wouldn't do it. The loyalty's there. And even you guys follow Ricky Goodman on Twitter. He's a good follow. Logic always is better than emotions. So the death of Kerr will be his loyalty to the old guys. And I agree with all of that. Like, so we see that in the distant future, or maybe it's the coming up future. And I wonder about that. And so I think that all gets rolled back into, what happens if we have the same team throughout the rest of the season? And I think sometimes it's better to just change up the roster for changing up the roster's sake. Like it breathes the new breath of fresh air onto a team. Even I just think back to when we would have different seasons in our amateur leagues and tournaments. It's always kind of cool to have a new team that you bring in. It may not have been as good as the last one, but it's a new dynamic. It's a new opportunity to develop chemistry with
novelty. Novelty is important just for your mind. You can't do the you can't do the same thing over and over and over again all the time normally. And basketball is repetitive enough. But I do think, I do think too, like Draymond's just playing a lot of center, man. He must be exhausted. I think if he wasn't, like, he's small, man. He's getting beat up out there, and he knows he has to spend all of his energy on defense. So maybe on offense, it's just like,
well, that's why we're not starting him at the 5. But
sure,
we might do that if QP doesn't step it up and hit some clutch.
I think
shots.
Horford can play a little more too.
Right, but
honestly, I do. I don't think we need to.
They always talk about the last 30 games after the All-Star break. They talk about it's a sprint.
Yeah,
so we're ready for that, and we're excited about that. It was one of the topics in a recent practice that wasn't covered very, very heavily, so not a lot of people know about it. But Steve was talking about, or maybe it was on 95.7 on the weekly interview, but where Jimmy was able to come in and he hadn't played with Miami, so he was able to come in and just focus on those last 30 games and of last year. So we have something to look forward to. Like they're going to be ready for the sprint. But yeah, still though, that is a lot to ask of Draymond, and I sure hope it doesn't wear him down. And it'll be interesting to see when they go with Draymond at the 5, if we need to resort to that, or if we can keep it the way it is. Literally the other day was at practice, Steve talked about that starting five and said, yes, it's a net negative over a month of sample size, but we're going to stay with it because at least it's stable and we know where the game should go, flow into a certain direction. And I really hope that QP can keep it up. But I wonder at which point do you start Al at some point, or it'll be interesting the whole sprint. When do you do that? And also, did Steve screw up until this point with the rotation, not experimenting too long a little bit, or all of that? So, but overall, I look at it and I just see, well, we're missing a wing. We're missing an athletic guy. So, and maybe that's Steve's fault, but like, that's the thing we're missing. Like, I think one player could really make a big change, a la Andrew Wiggins. And I think Jerami fits kind of that mold, Jerami Grant. I think MPJ could.
I agree. And again, he's big enough to also play sort of big next to Draymond. So I think it's definitely interesting. Yeah. As long as we don't have to give up too many assets. Also, Bruce said hashtag bench Draymond because he's a joker on that one. But when we say take Draymond off the bench, that is not the same thing as benching him. Okay? Words matter really? Here. Semantics are important. Taking him off the bench means he still plays a lot of minutes. Benching him means you cut his minutes. We're not talking about cutting Draymond's minutes down and he's like a role player now. So net negative, who cares, man? We need Draymond ready to go for the playoffs. You know, it doesn't matter really. I honestly don't think he really cares much. Just whatever helps the team. Now, if he's not starting in the playoffs, that could be a problem. But I give the man a rest, you know? He's like 6'5", dude. He's having to go up against the centers of the West. Jeez. Tough.
And also, as I am answering a question in the comments, we gave up those 4 games.
Right.
I'm sure the vets deeply regret, but it's a focus thing. So as I said before, I just don't know if there's anything you can do about that. But we should be 26-15, which would put us 5th right now. So, gosh.
If we're 5th, we'd be 5th.
Can we bring back JaVale McGee? Well, that brings us to thank you for bringing that up. We did not talk about the Daniel Gafford, Klay Thompson idea from Sam Quinn of the Yossi Goslin podcast up here. So Sam Quinn is saying, hey, look, all you got to do is just trade Kuminga for Gafford and Klay. Now, obviously, we would need to make another trade because we can't have 16 players.
Sure.
So, okay, whatever that is, maybe if we're getting Gafford, then trust me, we're trading away Trace Jackson Davis. There's no doubt in my mind at that point. But you bring in Gafford and Klay. Gafford would kind of play the JaVale role. He has a nice.
We're trading who for Gafford and Klay?
Kuminga.
The math doesn't work.
Then maybe there's somebody else. Let's see. Let's go to Dallas. It's good exercise.
Work with Moody over the second apron.
14 million plus. Oh, right. So it would be. My fault. Oh gosh. Then I got to click on it and just find out what they talked about. Go ahead. Try some different combinations.
But they did. JK and Buddy.
Okay, JK and Buddy.
That works.
All right, let's just say JK and Buddy. For some reason, Dallas goes for it. Now, the funny thing is Yossi was like, oh, they can do this without sending a first-round pick. But Sam Quinn was like, no. See, Gafford has a great contract, so they could probably get the same. They can probably get him for picks somewhere else. So Golden State is gonna need to throw in a pick, which I don't like. But let's say we got to talk about this because someone brought up the JaVale McGee role. Yeah, I think even if we had Gafford, wouldn't he's not playing in the playoffs because we're gonna. I don't think we're gonna play him in the playoffs. It's gonna be Al Horford, Gafford.
You don't think we play him in the playoffs?
We didn't play JaVale in the playoffs.
We had KD.
He got mothballed. Okay, yeah, but we went small. We went with Looney. So you would play Draymond at the 5 and this.
Gafford is significantly better than JaVale, though.
Okay, so you think we would play him? I just don't know how he fits.
I guess that is a problem too. Also, is Klay coming off the bench?
Yeah, that's another thing. So you sent Buddy out. So then Klay would replace Buddy. So then Buddy has been
A little Bahamas connection over there.
Buddy has been pushed down the depth chart by Will Richard and Moody. And so Klay would have to playing Klay means reducing Will Richard. And how's Klay's defense of late? I'm worried about that. That's really the only thing.
I have no idea, but we know. I mean, we know that we tried to play him a little bit more at the 4 last time he was here.
Yeah, so
because now he didn't want to come off the bench. He's coming off the bench more. I'm worried that I think Klay would come back voluntarily at some point. I'm not sure he wants us to trade for him and push him back into. I mean, whatever. If it helps us win, then what is it? He's a role player now. He doesn't, they're just going to do what is best for them, and we're going to do what's best for us. But still, it's Klay, man. Just be thrown right back in the same situation, and for a guy. And now you're saying Gafford. How do we play him in the playoffs? Which is a bit insane, but we do have Draymond. So now is it Jimmy, Draymond, and Gafford? That's our starting front court?
I don't know.
Yeah.
But part of the reason to do the deal per Sam Quinn was that it's hard to improve the team as is. And so this would appease the fans. And the
sign of a dynasty is doing whatever the fans want at that moment. Yes.
Yeah, I don't see Joe Lacob doing that because he knows that. Joe Lacob would not do this deal just because it would look like that. So everything Sam Quinn just said about it, and Sam's great. He has great ideas. One of his best ideas was last summer to come up with a way to trade Kuminga using, remember it was base year compensation 50% rule that made it really hard to trade JK. So his idea was to sign and trade Gary Payton and sign and trade Kevon Looney. And I was like, oh man, that's crazy. I didn't even think of that. So Sam Quinn is actually pretty brilliant. It's just that sometimes you run into these kind of things we know about the franchise just being around the franchise for over a decade.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
I just guys don't have the same depth.
Because Sam Quinn brought that up as a solution to appease the fans, that is why Joe Lacob would never do it, which is kind of interesting, an interesting way to look at that. But so I could be wrong, right? Obviously, we could be wrong on any of these things. Who knows? We're not Mike Dunleavy or Joe or even Steve out there talking about this stuff on the daily basis. Kirk Lacob. So I could be wrong, but my gut tells me that that's not going to happen because
those guys do have really comfy looking chairs, though, man. You have to admit that.
All right. Sorry to keep you so late, Dean.
That's okay. I turned on the gig stuff I'm doing, so I decided I'll turn it on here, and we'll see where we're going. Oh, 94 minutes, man. Let's go. Already.
Well, Klay's coming off the bench now, so he's got to be okay with it at this point.
Yeah, but he's back on the Warriors again, and he didn't go to the Lakers because it was a fishbowl thing. And
Oh yeah, that part of it, I really don't think Klay wants to come here. Much the same as not the same, but
again, I think he could choose it later on, but just picked up and traded like one season in between. Like,
yeah, if he has a good agent, I remember when Jerami Lin signed with the Warriors, one of the top agents in the league, who I don't keep in touch with anymore because I don't want to bother him. You know, he's got a busy job, but he's one of the more powerful agents out there. And he's like, that's the last place you should sign because you'll always have the Warriors as an option. You go there first, and you've already, you know, that's, you know, then where you're going to go when push comes to shove and you're really looking for a place.
What year was this?
2010.
Oh, okay.
Or 2009, maybe. I forget whenever Jerami was drafted. Lo and behold, Jerami ended up
Stanford guy. Is that why?
Jeremy's not a Stanford guy.
I thought he played.
No, he went to Harvard. In fact, he was.
Oh, Harvard. I always get those mixed up. I'm sorry.
Stanford,
yeah, right.
Stanford dissed him.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Only gave him a walk-on opportunity. Ooh. Anyway, Jerami, should have not signed with the Warriors the first time out. Ironically, ended up with the Warriors in Santa Cruz during the bubble and all of that, but never was able to crack a NBA rotation after that. But he's had a great career. You know, he's a mega star in Taiwan, even though now he's retired. So no disrespect on Jerami Lin's career, but I'm just saying that you're right in terms of Klay. I would think that his agent would say, no, you're always going to have Warriors as a last ditch. So let's remember all these, you know, employment opportunities, especially as you age. Let's keep Warriors there as the one that you could go to, knowing that that's where you can end your career. And so if Klay has any say in this trade with Gafford for JK and Buddy, as suggested by Yossi and Sam, I would think, like MPJ, I don't think they'd want to come here, MPJ or Klay. So I don't know.
MPJ want to come here?
Oh, because he's.
Because I hate him, or no? I'm kidding.
Because he's. If you watch his last, I think I have it in the Dunleavy section. If you watch his last, one of the recent interviews in the locker room, he's enjoying his time in Brooklyn, right here.
Sure.
And talks about Denver respectfully, but it's a chance for him to spread his wings. I mean, he's talking about things like, you know, I didn't get to take my shots, even though I know I can make my shots. You know, of course, he's got to say that. Typical AAU top dog mentality, which I respect.
Oh, God. Just get rid of Americans in basketball, dude. Only Canadians and European guys and guys like Steph who are rejected.
Brazilians, don't forget Brazilians. Energy. Brazilians, you forgot Brazilians. How dare you?
Oh, yeah, sure. International players and only guys who, like, didn't get into their first choice college. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or multiple years. No more AAU, no more one and done. You're banned from the NBA. Just get out.
And you got to add transfer portal to that now.
Well, if you're in college for a couple of years, we'll let you in, you know.
Well, it's transfer portal. It's a little different.
You'll get your shots playing.
So this is why
shot clock.
This is why I don't think MPJ wants to come here. And this is not me. This is just a long quote. So go check that out. Pinned comment, free Discord, free section. All right, Dean, kept you on. Steve Kerr on what's going on with Jonathan Kuminga. Okay.
Wow.
Our Discord is awesome.
They're tuning in, man. No wonder not everybody
I'm
hits
going to play this, but I'm going to scroll down so that I respect 95.7's video, because a lot of people get, even though it's, you know, journalism, fair use, a lot of people get riled up about that. So let's listen to Steve on this.
Annoy you here with this question. I'm willing to do it, though, because it's so noticeable that when the bench gets emptied, there's still one guy that doesn't come off the bench. So even in what they call garbage time, why does Jonathan not go in at that point?
I'm just going to say it's a difficult situation. I think you guys know it. Everybody knows it. I'm just going to leave it at that. It's a difficult situation.
And it's probably one that won't get rectified to the extent that he will play more or he'll be a part of garbage time. It's kind of, I guess, for you, a little bit of a wait and see pattern.
It's just wait and see. We have to control what we can control. Try to keep moving the ship forward. And as I said, this is not an easy situation. It's not an easy one to talk about, frankly. I try to protect everybody and organizationally, and nobody's winning right now with this situation, and it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Well, that just tells me that JK has effectively told him, yeah, if you're not going to play me meaningful minutes, because Steve was on the podium recently saying that JK even told him that, hey, I can't do the short burst thing. Go ahead with Guy on that. Well, he didn't say that, but that's the conclusion that we can make. And I respect JK for doing that. I think I would have done that. I said this story before, but and then I'll let you say what you need to say. But in 9th grade, I was the 3rd string point guard. I was literally the last guy off the bench. But I was scared to play. It's one of those things when you first start playing basketball. You can play great in pickup games with your friends and even neighborhood people at the playground. But then you go into a high school game or a middle school game, and it's tough mentally. Luckily, I grew 8 inches between my freshman and sophomore years of and then I started getting better and better. But my 9th grade coach, then I had different coach, and then my 9th grade coach became the new coach in my senior year. By the time I was a senior in high school, I had improved enough to not be 3rd string anymore. In fact, I was the starting small forward. And one game, he didn't even tell me. He said I wasn't starting, and he took me off the bench. I was the 6th man. I went in there, but all I could think about was I was just so angry that I wasn't a starter. And so the next day I went to him. He was the biology teacher. So after biology class, I went to him and I said, look, as coincidence would have it, you had me as 3rd string point guard in 9th grade. You never played me. I worked my way back up. You weren't here for that, but now you're back here. I need to start. That's an achievement that I've earned. So you need to start me. And so he said, oh, I didn't know you feel that way. Okay. Yeah. You're a starter again. I just thought that you'd be a spark off the bench. So he was trying to do what's best for the team, but he was also giving the reason why he did that. He should have told me, and we should have had a discussion about that, but he didn't know how I felt about that, and so on and so forth. But we weren't a great team either. If this was a championship high school team, obviously I wouldn't be able to do that. But my journey is my journey, and that's the journey that I had. And I worked my ass off between freshman year and senior year to move up the ladder that way. So I felt really strongly about that. He felt that. He could feel the passion in my bones on that. And so I got to be a starter. We weren't a good team, 7 and 18 and all that. So I really feel for Jonathan. I can understand him from that standpoint. And so, but I do think
just like,
go ahead.
I really want to get out of here at this point. So what am I risking injury for?
That too. Absolutely.
Right? You have to protect, you have to protect being healthy for your next team and rested and everything, Also, I can't wait to vote for Steve Kerr for senator from California because folks, this is common sense, and we don't just circled around the question, didn't say anything at all. He's ready for politics, sir. So nice non-answer there. Got to protect everybody in the organization. And it's tough. It's hard to talk about, and I'm not going to actually say anything at all about the situation that's going on. And basically, you didn't learn anything at all that you didn't already know. Fine, whatever. But I do think what you're saying, about like JK just like, hey man, this is this is what I need and this is what I kind of work for. You do have to respect that, and you have to respect that. Lesser men, very few women, I would imagine, but lesser men as coaches would also not, kind of air a little dirty laundry out to the media. I mean, thankfully we have not had a lot of leaks in the Warriors organization. I do want to address the DeRozan Monk thing that someone suggested. Please use like Fanspo or Trade Machine, because I did that, and that's $43.5 million. So Podziemski, Moody, and Kuminga, that's 37.7. The math doesn't work. Please put it in a Trade Machine first, and then tell us how at least the salary works.
Monk and who? Oh, DeRozan.
DeRozan and
Yeah,
Monk.
yeah. Well, the whole Sac thing, Sacramento. Look, first of all, Malik Monk has a contract that goes past summer 2027, and it's over market value, I believe, is what they're saying.
Monk, yeah.
18, 20. Oh, it ascends as well.
Is that a player option?
I don't think it's that bad, but Yossi Goslin has told me that it's a terrible contract.
Blue's a player option, right?
Yeah, player option.
Yeah.
The Warriors already said no to Malik Monk. That's been widely reported. So, and I also don't know how he fits in that he seems to be, like, to me, maybe like a taller shooter. And that just,
we don't need more guards. The
yeah, we
DeRozan
don't need
thing might be interesting, but because it's not that much. But
so I would just, if JK ends up on the Kings, it's got to be multiple teams involved in this, and it can get quite complicated at that point.
Yeah, and then who are we targeting? That multiple team thing. I mean, it would be really interesting to have Steph, DeMar DeRozan, Jimmy Butler, Draymond, and a center and Horford or something out there.
Yeah, that's
like DeRozan and Jimmy, like those are mid-range dudes, man.
I want an athletic wing, but not DeRozan, not that type.
He's
like,
not.
Why go through that trouble? Here's the other thing with looking at trades, which basically you're a champion of, which is why look at that one when you can look at that one. Here's another one that Bloomer mentioned earlier. I don't know if Bloomer's still on, but JJJ, I already did a video on that this past summer. Well, I think Memphis has got to figure out Ja Morant and then go from there. They just gave JJJ an extension, so I don't think they're in a hurry to do anything with JJJ. Figure out Ja first. So there's a lot of waiting around. And that goes back to another thing, is if we're waiting around for JJJ, why not just wait around for Giannis? So there's those things, and also what was another one? I can't remember, but that's a good way to look at some trade scenarios that you might see while scrolling on Twitter. Is that why would I go for that and just pick a better player? Pick a better player that plays that same position and is similar, and go offer that team the 3 draft picks or 4. So why don't you look at it like that? Anyway,
Should we get involved at all? Look, I'm not saying we should do it because it'd be nuts, but should we? If you were Mike Dunleavy, would you call Memphis for Ja?
Yeah, I think that's a little crazy, right? Because then we're getting smaller again. I mean,
Yeah.
Malik Monk.
I mean, Ja would be
Malik
a legit all-star caliber dude who can definitely play shooting guard next to Steph.
The culture is totally against the Warriors' way of doing things, and just looking back at some of those draft picks that we did make with Wiseman, with Kuminga, Moody. The real one is Moody. It deserves its own live stream discussion. It's like we had a chance to pick Jalen Johnson. Okay, no, maybe he had some injury issues, and Trey Murphy as well. But like, did we pick Moody ahead of those two guys because of the character thing, or just I would love to understand that one. So,
well, that you have to remember that's the Bob Myers draft pick, right? And he was more of a dude who's great at he put together incredible rosters, veteran wise, but his draft picks turned out to be not all that good, really.
Well, yes,
wasn't that good at draft.
Jordan Poole turned out good, right?
Yeah, but that's one, and there's
is there one more?
Jacob Evans and James Wiseman, and I guess Moody and Kuminga.
Well, I think that whole this is another live stream, but I think that whole era. First of all, the NBA has changed drastically, and really, I think the thesis of that whole thing is that we always assumed we were going to get Klay. We always thought we would get Klay would be on the team and not be that bad on defense. Let's add that part, because the whole ecosystem was based actually not just on Steph as it is now, Steph and Draymond, but a large part of it was Klay.
Alfonso McKinney.
So you could bring in some of these guys that's why that can justify a Wiseman pick or Kuminga pick, is that you're assuming Klay is going to be here.
I understand that, Rich, but look at MPJ's picks.
MPJ's pick?
Oh my God.
MDJ.
MDJ's picks. Look at Mike Dunleavy Jr.'s picks.
Yeah, they're
Ryan
complimentary.
Rollins and Pajamski and Will Richard.
Who was the first one?
Who
was the first one?
Oh, I said Ryan Rollins.
Yeah. Okay. Ryan
Rollins. Patrick Baldwin Jr.
Rollins?
These are second-round picks, man.
Those are Dunleavy's picks?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the one
I just think Myers was incredible at building veteran championship level teams. You got Iguodala, you got Sean Livingston, which is a huge pickup. It felt like the league gave up on that guy. I guess he drafted.
Your internet froze.
Not bad, but I do think we have significantly. I think Dunleavy's a significantly better draft pick guy so far.
But it's
so I'm not quite as concerned about.
It's a lot easier when you know what you've got. Like I just think I'm giving Bob a bit of a pass on the Wiseman, and wasn't it Bob with Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because one variable in there was Klay. I think those draft picks were made with Klay in the ecosystem. And who knows?
I understand that. I'm just saying, I do think also, Dunleavy's just a better talent scout in terms of drafted guys. Not better in talent or anything like that, but I have a little bit more confidence. For instance, if we keep our pick this year, I have a little bit more confidence that we would probably not have the same issues with a lot. God forbid, but if we had a lottery pick, I would be a little bit more confident, maybe, that we get a guy who's really good. And the Wiseman thing was so difficult, man. That was such a difficult draft. Yep. For 1,000 different reasons that we've talked about a lot. But I'll draft a pool as well. Yep, it's true. Mm-hmm. Top 5 owner, yeah. No, he's the best owner in the NBA. I don't think there's.
Yeah, I'm being a little generous on that one. But I don't, who cares what you think is the best franchise in the league? Like, I mean, how can you sit here and we're still the best franchise in the league? Our won-loss record might not show it, but as a Warriors fan, you got to say that. I don't understand that. So maybe I'm just nitpicking the comment.
Well, look, the whole goal for this, really, the main thing, if you ask me, like, what do you really want most, other than another championship for Steph? Because 5 that's Duncan, Kobe, Magic. Obviously, that's probably number one. But next to that, maybe even more important is, like, you have a real shot in San Francisco with the Warriors, with Laker, with the history that you built, with the being one of the original teams in the NBA, of being kind of number 3 next to the Lakers and Celtics, where it doesn't matter if you have a bad year. You become an attractive destination that figures out how to win with different stars coming in all the time, like the Lakers do, like the Celtics do. Right? The Lakers have made a finals every single decade, at least. The Celtics only missed out in the 40s and the 90s. The Heat maybe too. I think they're probably another team that could be there. They're much more recent, obviously. But that's the goal, right? Where you have to get the end of Steph Curry's career right. You at least want to be somewhat competitive. But what comes after that is that you figure out a way to not go back to, waiting around for someone great to fall in your lap. And I think the Warriors have a real shot to do it, I mean, it's hard to name. I mean, look, you guys are the second team of California, just in terms of attractiveness, right? Because people aren't going to the Clippers, even though it's in LA and Sacramento's not on the coast, right? You have Joe Lacob, hopefully, for decades to come. You really, really hope that's true. Bay Area basketball fans are great. You guys are absolutely awesome. There aren't that many arenas where you go and the fans are ahead of the Jumbotron in terms of what they should chant, or start chanting defense before being. It's just there's a lot of great stuff going on, and you want that legacy to continue forward afterwards. So sometimes dynasties have to make dynasty moves. Thank God it's sports and not war. It's the cutthroat moves in sports they're not really that bad. No one really gets hurt, Oh, I have to move from one city to another. There's a lot more serious stuff going on in the world. But we can't go back. The Warriors cannot go back to, like, hey, we're the scrappy little team that no one knows about in the Bay, And we're just happy to make the playoffs once a decade. You cannot go back to that after this. And damn it, I won't let it happen. Give me Laco's number, man. I'll make sure he doesn't do it. You know what I'm saying, Rich?
Yep, absolutely. We talked about it before on here, but yeah. I know I'm going back and forth with somebody in the comments, but it's your guys' life. But I built Let's Go Warriors to be the one place on the internet where we talk positively about the Warriors. Now we're gonna face some difficult issues like the snippet that I just played, courtesy 95.7 right here. But all in all, you got to have that foundation, go back to gratitude, and it's a struggle out there. Right now I have a lot of family issues that's dealing with people that's looking at things in a negative manner, kind of like operating in a theme of fear rather than love, really. But it's not their fault either. And so just trying to provide a space for people where we can express our love for the Warriors. That's all. So that's all we're trying to do. And I think we should wrap up. Appreciate everybody hopping on. I didn't even run a single commercial, and that's okay because I do those during the live streams, during the watch parties, which we will have one obviously tomorrow, 7:00 against the New York Knicks. Dean, anything else you wanna mention?
We'll be all right. We have Steph and Dray and Jimmy. Just look, we're not winning the title this year if we don't make any moves. Just enjoy the team. It's fun to watch. They're still fun to watch, man. There's always something happening. And take a game off too if you need to. I mean, not everybody take a game off all at once, but coming back and watch. And I wanted to watch them yesterday, but they were on the Peacock, so it's like, oh my god, getting shut out of everything, man. But whatever.
That sucks.
Yeah.
I think.
Picked off by it was fun, just like not when you're there I don't know how you do it, Rich. Honestly, just being in every single game. Like, love
the game too much. It's just
I know.
In terms of like just watching from a coach's angle, like that's the one thing about basketball that I always loved when we did all those. I put in teams in Asian tournaments out here in the Bay and traveled to wherever, LA, New York, Vegas. Like, the one thing that I love about basketball is that certain layer of fandom that's really close to the team, but not in the team. And I always wanted Let's Go Warriors kind of be we call it the 19th man on the bench. So you got the 15 regular guys, the 3 two-way players, and we'll be that 19th guy at the end of the bench, sitting down with Eric Hausen, the equipment manager, watching the game and cheering for our team. And the thing that I missed the most was when I would when somebody's like, I would run the Vegas tournament. Let's say I got the Stockton Ballers coming in versus the whatever other team, and
Rich,
the Stockton.
Rich,
oh, you got to go?
I gotta go, man.
Okay. Thanks, brother.
Thank you, man.
Take care. And the Stockton guys, they would bring their girlfriends, right? And she would be screaming at the top of their lungs, saying, "What are you doing?" after a turnover or after a bad missed 3 or something like that. Just some silly brain fart plays. And so GP2, Steph, Draymond, when they all have those little things that drive you nuts, I feel like that's part of it. Even though I am always hoping that the Warriors don't do those brain farts, it's just like the brain farts of basketball keep me around, because then I can go, see, you're not playing well right now. You need to sit down, or usually not, because I trust the rotations and the players just need to play better. But here we are, Pinky's in the comments saying, "Oh, the bakery's open again. We're turning the ball over," and stuff like that. So that's how I do it over and over again, just because I actually love that part of the game, even though I wish Bobby Knight style, I wish that we would eliminate all the mistakes. But when that game does happen, when we do eliminate those mistakes and we really focus in, whether it's probably game 3 or 4 against the Houston Rockets. I remember Steph went to the podium and said, all I was trying to do was not turn the ball over. Like, finally, thank you. And they're really dedicated to that. So part of the enjoyment of basketball is to go through those struggles. So, but in the moment, it's tough. And you do want to improve the team, and you always want to try and get those wins as well, because at the end of the day, you are judged on that one-loss record. So it's maintaining that balance. So that's all we're doing here. And yeah, thank you for joining. We covered a lot, probably too much, went on a million tangents. Messily organized live stream. But I think just anytime you want to talk about trades and whatnot, just hop on our live stream. We're here for every single game. In fact, next live tomorrow, Thursday the 15th, JK Day as they're calling it. But as the title of this live stream suggests, we may need to wait around to see if Giannis leaves the Bucks, because they're going through some struggles. At least they were last night. They currently are in the standings as well. But 7 o'clock tomorrow, Pacific Standard Time, Knicks against the Warriors. That is the next live. Thank you, Dean, for joining us. I don't know. I'm a bit tired now. Maybe next discussion topic could be going through the Giannis post game and enjoying all the things he said that might lead him to the Warriors eventually. And I can't believe it, but I'm now one of those guys that is now, I think it's more realistic than ever, the chance to get Giannis. And that's just because Milwaukee is not a good team at all right now. So I hold on to that hope, and that's how I'm looking at the trade market. So whatever happens, based on the first domino being Giannis, which I'm pretty sure Lacob and Dunleavy, I'm pretty sure I'm sitting at the same table they are on that. I'm pretty sure we're on the same wavelength. So that's good enough for me. And we'll see what happens. Whoever we get, if we don't get anybody, I'm sure there's good reasons. There'll be some disappointment. There'll be some understanding. And that's the thing. Basketball's complicated. Shit happens in basketball. But that's the thing, is it happens in life too. So it's not how you, it's not what it's not what happens to you, or in this case, in the context of the Warriors, it's not what happens to the Warriors or the Warriors roster or their one-loss record. It's how you deal with it. And life is about going through those ups and downs and trying to reach that point where nothing ever affects you, and you just go back to that gratitude that you might have as your foundation. So that's the one place on the internet where we're going to try and do that with the Warriors. So thank you for joining us, and appreciate you all for letting me kind of spread that gospel. And we will see you tomorrow. 24 hours. I don't have an outro yet. I got to work on that. But I just did a 2-hour live stream, and I got to work on that and cut that up into a podcast. So, but thank you for making the live stream fun to talk about. And I want to go back and look at all those comments that you did. Is there a way to save comments? Wow. Thank you for this. Let's end the poll. It ends at 50%. Yes. Oh, cool. Wow. That's interesting. All right, guys. 22 votes, my favorite number. We will see you tomorrow. Take care. Stay positive. Choose love, not fear. And just us.